engaged are you with your city? Do you take action beyond just venting on social media when your city floods or runs out of water? As we mark the 78th Independence Day, it's time to think about what each of us can do to make our cities more livable and sustainable. Simple steps like careful waste segregation and home composting can make a big difference in our surroundings. Welcome to the Urban Agenda, where we dive into how you can actively contribute to improving your city. I'm Manisha Natarajan. Joining me are the leaders of citizen-led organizations who have made a significant impact by bringing people together for the common goal of improving our cities. Shishir Joshi, founder and CEO of Project Mumbai. Tarun Sharma, he's a co-founder of Nagrika, and Divya Narayanan, executive director at jhatka.org. Thank you so much for joining me, all of you. It's a wonderful day to be talking about citizens' participation, isn't it? 78 years of independence, and I think it's time we stop cribbing and moving to action. Shishir, my first question is to you. Project Mumbai now has spearheaded two major citizen-led initiatives in the city. Beautification of 29 Mumbai railway stations, largest citizen-led public art initiative, and the plastic recyclathon, which was actually recognized by Limca Book of Records as the largest citizen-led plastic recycling initiative. So my question is, how are you able to galvanize and motivate citizens to come together for such efforts in a city like Mumbai?
Manisha, I think today and every day is a good day for people to start. I would put it that way. Well, having said that, Mumbai is a chaotic city, but I also believe that there is a kindness bone in each one of us. All we need to do is to kind of trigger that kindness bone. Very often when we get people to say, do this, most people say, okay, that I might do it just once. But important to excite people in the space that they want to do and the area which is geography that they are comfortable with and the time that they have, and which is what Project Mumbai's strength has been. We just are not into A and B and C things. We've actually got 40 different initiatives that are working simultaneously, because if today Manisha says I'd like to do sustainability, then you have plastic. Tomorrow you might want to do art, then there's the railway station initiative. Then you may want to donate a book, and we are setting libraries in municipal gardens. You want to map a road, then you have a mapping opportunity. You want to do something in fire safety. So we've created a menu. It's almost like a mall of volunteering that we're trying to do here. Can we make Mumbai the country's kindness capital? Because we believe that people have the kindness here. So it's not one opportunity. And that way people have responded because there is one segment of the community which loves to give their time. But there are those, which is maybe 3/4 of them, who are not sure what they want to do. But whenever we talk to people, people say, I'd love to do, but I don't know how to go about it. And that's the community we are trying to kind of bring together to say, we'll tell you how, but I'm not telling you what I want you to do. I'll tell you what you can choose. And that's how the community grows. Manisha?
So how large is your team to actually reach out to such a, I mean, it's a dense city with 9 crore people, in fact, maybe more if you take larger MMR. How do you reach out to people? How do you decide which areas will you work in? What causes you? Give me a very interesting example, Shishir. People care, they just don't know how to. If you offer them a menu of things that they can do, they will connect with at least one of them and allow them to do that within that area of comfort, or at least the geographical area where they can be present. Am I correct in understanding? So my question is, how much muscle, manpower, technology do you use to make it happen?
So let me be very brutally honest. We are now on the threshold of technology, but it's largely been the passion space and creating good ideas which resonate. You refer to the plastic recyclathon. Again, we try to simplify, de-jargonize anything. So we are not talking about climate change. We are not talking about global warming. We are just saying, donate your plastic waste, we'll pick it up. So the spoon that you would have otherwise thrown into a landfill, now we collect it, we recycle it, and we show it back to them to say, the bench that you're sitting on is made out of that recycled plastic. So the habit of giving starts from there. We actually become the popular raddiwalas or the kachrawalas, but then they say, okay, these guys are doing such good work, what more? And then say, okay, do you have something else to give? What can you give? Okay, something as simple as a book. What will you do with the book? Because the process is transparent. We are setting up libraries in municipal gardens, and then we are setting up libraries in prisons. Now, the oh wow element starts. Then we have the beach cleanups, which is again one of the largest initiatives in the Limca book, where we say, come on, the moment I say come and clean up rivers, because beaches are not the places where solutions can take place. You really need to clean the rivers because that's where the muck is. But the moment I say, Divya, Tarun, Manisha, come to a dirty river and soil yourself in, you'll never come back again. But I say, come to the beach. That's a very fancy proposition. And we all love to go to a beach. But when you come to a beach, you clean up, your eyes get wide open to say, there's so much of kachra here. And then when you're out there, you get excited. Then you say, okay, here are 5 other things you can do. Everybody goes back to the story. They click selfies. It's almost like when you go to a mithai wala. I offer the mithai wala, you've gone there to buy one set of mithai. You have a focus in your mind. But the mithai wala says, aap ye try karke dekhiye, this is free. Now, you are reluctant because it's free, you're not sure what's the catch. The mithai wala says, no catch at all, no strings attached. And when you taste that, you say, okay, I like that. We get you to the beach. You come here to the beach because this is the beach and you clean up. And then I say, okay, do you know that you can set up a library? Do you know that you can be a fire safety champion? You can map the road which is next to your house and it can change lives. There's a good boat in everyone. We're
Okay.
just trying to, as I said, trigger that boat, Marisha.
All right. So what I'm hearing also is, all right, Mumbai becoming a kindness capital, and you've started on that journey in earnest. However, if the task is very difficult, like river cleaning, then there will be reluctance. So I'm going to come back to you and say, when are you going to tackle that? But let me take on the uh, digitization of the citizen initiatives. Divya, jhatka.org. Now, you are actually focusing on digital campaigning organization, which brings citizens together to take actions on issues that matter. Now, tons of these are happening. There's change.org, where petitions are signed, etc. My question is that how impactful are they to really see change on the ground? Because a lot of times you have thousands and lakhs of signage of petitions, but really does administration move? उनको आप हिला पाते हैं, like we say in Hindi?
Great question. So for us at Jhatka, the petition is just one of the tools that we use to engage citizens. It's just a front-facing method to get citizens on board to the campaign. A lot happens after. So we engage people. I think it's important to engage people both online and offline. I think social media and the online world plays a very important role in starting and continuing conversations around issues that people care about. It's important for awareness generation, changing mindsets. But what's equally important is connecting the offline and online. So while having these conversations is important, showing up offline becomes even more important. And that's how we make it more effective. So we get people to show up to meet with their local decision makers. Our decision makers are not only active in their rooms, but they're also quite active on social media. All of our agencies, most civic agencies have an online presence. They're encouraging people to use their portals and their apps or even just on the phone. Like, for example, at Jhatka, we've gotten several of our citizens to call their local decision makers and engage them and ask them for a particular demand or an action that we're demanding. So I think it's very important to complement the online with the offline.
Give me one or two examples of things or changes that you've been able to bring about with an online offline coming together.
Sure. So there are a few. In fact, in Bangalore, we've successfully saved hundreds and thousands of trees, because in Bangalore, I think one thing that people are very proud of is it being called the Garden City of India, and that is something that's it's an emotional part of Bangaloreans, and so people really do show up when they need to save their trees. And so even last year, we got a stay order on a flyover that was unscientific in Bangalore, which would have actually led to the felling of over 50 heritage trees that have been there for hundreds of years. And so for that, we got 35,000 people. It was a hyper local campaign in one small area of Bangalore, but 35,000 people got on that petition and joined the campaign. But we also then combined it and complemented it by forming a core group of citizens who would go and engage with decision makers, go have meetings with them, speak to them, engage local population, have localized events where those trees were being cut. We got children and elderly involved. We got children to, tie like little hearts around those trees that were earmarked for being cut. And so all of that sort of pulls on your heartstrings. And we had a very engaged core group of citizens on ground who were really driving this, and we were just supporting them. So that's been one of, a big victories last year as well.
Okay. So, you're also in a city which is far more responsive and citizens are. I wish you would come 100%. Bring Jhatka to Delhi and see where there's a lot more armchair activism than actual groundwork, but we'll wait for you to come here. Tarun, let me come to Nagrika. Very interesting space you operate in. There is innovative research happening on how to improve citizen engagement. You also look at trends, you also look at issues. So give me a flavor of how does Nagrika work to get citizens involved and drive meaningful change with their, let's say, administrators?
Yes. So Nagrik essentially is a think tank. We started as an organization co-founded by two small town citizens who saw our smaller towns existing in a black hole of knowledge vacuum. And the idea behind Nagrik has been to make such knowledge available which can allow people to take action and create conversations. And a focus of work has been in small and mid-sized cities. And one of the key trends that we have been seeing, and we've been engaging with multiple network partners across such smaller cities, where they are able to galvanize people to come together for a common cause. So 3 top things that we've seen is that if there is an issue that affects them deeply, or if they have found an alternative pathway or an example that shows them a reality which is much better than they are living in, and if they have people who can lead them and galvanize them. So to give an example of the first one, so we've been working through a Nagrika Connect program in Udaipur, where the lakes in the last 20 years have been getting deteriorating. And this is an issue that affects them directly. And it has been a cultural landmark for most of those people who've been living through generations. And they have seen its idea of cultural tourism change into more wedding tourism. And this is an issue which also binds them because it's impacting their health on a daily basis. There are a lot of kidney and stomach-related diseases that have started happening in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So this is an issue that has brought a lot of citizens together, and they are coming together to ask administration to make changes and bring technology that can help clean the lakes. Then the second part is where they have an alternative pathway. And this is, again, as I said, that there has been a knowledge vacuum. And as an organization, this is the knowledge vacuum that we've been trying to fill, that there are active citizens and organizations and individuals who have found alternate pathways for improving the situation that they are in. For example, in Mangalore, there is an organization with whom we have been working with for some time, and they realized that Bangalore was able to create ward committees. So they took a legal route, but they were able to get ward committees constituted, and now they are going one step further, where they want to get ward sabhas and area sabhas also legislated in their city, and use that as a model of waste management as well. And they have seen what Alapua has been doing, and they know that there is an alternative universe that exists, which they can bring in their own cities. And third is if there are people who can lead and galvanize them. And in smaller cities, I think that is one common trend that we have seen. Like in Coimbatore, again, there is an organization called Siruthali with whom we have been working with. And they are an industry organization. And they were the ones who first started the idea of reviving some of the lakes that had been there for millennia. And they galvanized people around they gave a call, and more than some 500 hectares of lakes were cleaned in 2003. And because they kept up with the efforts, and Siruthali as an organization was leading, as an industry organization, eventually Coimbatore Smart City also took up that same initiative.
Of course, and they're wearing a big badge saying that, we've cleaned up all the cities and developed this fantastic, lakefront walkways, etc. But yes, citizens and governance, if it comes together. I'm going to come back and after this break and ask all of you on how to make these into mass movements. All of you are doing wonderful work. The impact is there, and you say citizens are getting engaged. But I feel that this can be a far larger movement. I'm going to come back to you for ideas, so stay with us. involved should you be in the governance of your city? What are the different ways you can help make your city healthier, more livable and sustainable? That's what we are focusing on today. How engaged are the citizens? I mean, what is the kind of pool of citizens are you able to draw in that NGO effort that you make?
So people have
And would you want
problems.
more of them to join? That's an important question.
Absolutely. We've still, despite being the go-to organization in the most chaotic city of the country, we still have touched about 10% of the people. But what we have managed to reach out to our children, the working class, housewives, and senior citizens all put together, because we also live in a city where trust has a huge deficit. We tend to believe that the government is not doing enough. And we talk about public-private partnerships. And in all this, we forget people. So what we managed to do is a public-private people partnership where we get citizens involved to say, you tell me what your problem is. And I think taking forward from what Divya spoke about, also, our entire effort is to create a hyper-local kind of a space of engagement, the place where you live. So all our engagements are also 100 meters of where you live, work and play. So one very interesting kind of initiative we've started off is Naksha. Mumbai has 19,000 roads. Now each road, and like Delhi, like Bangalore, like Udaipur, every road has a name. Most of us don't even know who these people are. So there could be a Manisha Natarajan road, I'm sure somewhere sometime in your life. But we don't even know who these people are. We just say take a left from SV road. What's SV? Take a left from Dr. BA road. Now we get citizens to the road that you live. Can you map the history of that road? We are building the cultural history of Mumbai like no other city has done, engaging citizens and students. So different areas we are involving in, trying to create a collaborative philanthropy, reducing the trust deficit and making Mumbai and also creating the country's largest ecosystem of volunteers.
Volunteers, fantastic. So everyone watching and living in Mumbai, please reach out to Project Mumbai and figure out what you can do. Also to Jhatka.org. Unfortunately, we've completely run out of time. I had so many more questions. Divya, can you give me a very short answer on how would you like your impact that Jhatka.org is doing to get broad-based and more citizen involvement, and a quick then final note from Tarun. Divya?
I think so. There is a Harvard researcher, their name is Erica Chenoweth. They talk about how any movement needs just 3.5% of the population to get involved. And that 3.5% of the population can turn it into a movement. And when we go hyper local, that number becomes really small and that's easier to tackle, right? And I think it's important to galvanize the people who are already interested and enthusiastic so that we're able to create FOMO for the other people and have them bring more and more of their friends and family into the movement. And so they then become the people who we call convince the persuadables. You know, there are people in the spectrum who are not sure about whether they should do anything, should they join the movement. Once you have enthusiastic people, they can bring in the persuadables. I think that's the only way to have like a
so grow in concentric circles of kindness, starting from very passionate people. Tarun, very quick wrap out from you on how to broad base this.
So I think as knowledge generators and as a think tank, I think for us, the journey started with creating ideas and expanding the realm of thought that already exists in helping people reimagine the reality that they're living in. So I think for us, we've been pushing the envelope of thinking about smaller cities and mid-sized cities, that how people can actually make a change based on what already exists. And I think that is the way in which we hope that more people will galvanize at what Divya was saying, that if we get those 3.5% people, and that's a network that we're creating in multiple smaller cities, more than 25 cities that we have.
Thank you so much. More power to all three of you. Very three different genres of work being done. Shishir, Divya and Tarun, thank you very much for joining us on this Independence Day special.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks to all of you. Let's hope we all find the time to actively make our cities better rather than just being on social media. That's important too. Keep that up. But let's really engage where it matters and contribute to our city's improvement. Goodbye and thanks for watching.